Excited about the spring game. Got an opportunity to play a lot of guys today. Got a lot of snaps in, probably more than we typically do. And I like the pace that it went at. We got done right at 2 hours and ended up getting about 15 or 20 more snaps than we've gotten in past years. So it was good tempo, some good and bad for both. But that's the way spring games go. We got to play some loose plays, throw the ball around, got to do some 2-minute. Excited about the guys that got to play. We got a lot of work to do in terms of off season and getting ourselves where we need to be for next year. But a lot of the mid-years got valuable minutes. I can remember when mid-years kind of went with the 3s and 4s, and now it seems like more of them are going with the 2s. That's just the way of college football right now. So excited about the work we've had and looking forward to progress we make into fall camp, into the next season.
Hey, Coach, what are some areas that you're looking for your team to grow in over the next several months?
Mental and physical toughness, I think, is one of the number one areas that we can get better at, grow, have more guys that can play winning football.
A couple of those mid-years on defense, especially Elijah Griffin and then Dominic Kelly had an interception. What have you seen from those two guys throughout this spring?
Hard to read, honestly. I have to watch the tape, but Dom was a busted route, so it was I like to look at the judge the play based on, did you make a great play or did he make a great play? I don't think either happened on that. Those are more circumstantial plays. So, they're typically the ones that the media see and say, well, in the sack line he had an interception. Well, did he go up and make a great play? I'm not taking anything away from Dom because Dom's had a really good spring, but that ball was thrown right to him. We had a busted route. And then Elijah made some plays too, and it continues to get better.
I'm sure you'll want to go back and watch it, but what were your immediate takeaways from Gunner and Ryan today?
Both did some good things and both did some poor things, which when you get in game environment, they need that. They need a game environment, they need a pocket, they need live, they need to play football. And they continue to get better. They understand they have some weapons on the outside. We have to rely on those guys to be able to make some plays. I think both those guys understand the offense. Ryan's come a long way in what was really his first spring. And he made some nice throws.
Where have you seen Gunner improve the most from the start of spring practice through today?
Confidence, understanding the offense, knowing when to take a shot, which he didn't do a great job today. He had a couple times that he could have thrown the ball, check it down. He took shots that he probably didn't have to. But he's done a really good job with his feet, his legs. He made plays with his legs today. I thought Ryan did too. They're both good athletes that can extend plays.
Kirby, what do you think of your wide receiver group after 15 spring practices?
Excited to see some more growth. Excited to see some more toughness. Excited to see what they can do in the fall. The biggest thing is keeping them healthy. And I don't know what the number is, but I would bet there's 6 or 7 of them that are in their first time playing this offense. And that takes a little time. So I thought the 6 or 7 new guys got better as the spring went on, and they got a chance to get 20-something more practices to grow even more. We're not where we need to be at wideout, but we have a good group to work with.
Zachariah and Noah specifically at receiver, how have those guys kind of grown since they got on campus 3 months ago?
They're learning the offense. When I mentioned those 6 or 7, they're in that number of guys that have to continue to grow and understand. Zach missed 2 or 3 practices that probably hurt him in terms of getting reps and understanding the offense. You can't just say, I'm going to learn it and go out there and do it. You have to rep it. You got to go out there and physically do it. And he missed, I think, 2 of the last 3 practices or 3 of the last 4 practices, and then was able to go today. But Jacoby made some plays today, made some really nice plays. And he catches the ball well. He's athletic. Dylan went out and played and did some extra things. And we've got the group we have, the core group we have is really tough and physical, and we want to continue to grow everybody to be that way.
Kirby, G-Day in Athens is a tradition for a lot of families that come out for the spring, and it's a good opportunity for a lot of the fans to see what the team is going to look like for the upcoming fall. With a lot of schools opting out of the spring game, what do you think Athens will look like for the future for G-Day?
I don't know. I'd say it's year by year. It probably has more to do with my team, the health of our team, the number of players in college football. We as coaches don't control the numbers we have. So if we don't have enough numbers, we won't be able to have the game. So, I think it's a great tradition, but it's more about what does our team need than just what Athens needs.
Bo Walker and Chauncey Bowens both make some plays today. How do you feel about your younger running backs and what you have there at that
Yeah,
position?
I'm excited for those two. They both got better in the spring. I thought Dwight had a good spring. Nate had a good spring. And then Cash took less reps than anybody because he's the guy that's had the most. But he continues to grow and get better. So I'm really excited about all those backs. They had good spring practices.
Kirby, another state of the game question, obviously pretty high profile transfer taking place in the SEC. Is that just kind of where we're at? Are we going to see more of that? And do you think this house settlement, once that's done, could curb some of that once the cap's in place?
I don't know that the house settlement's going to have any effect on the flow of players because that's not really what the house settlement is meant to do. It could increase it if more teams have money. I think it's hard to say what's going on in our league, how that'll impact things in the future. I can't foresee that. I think it's been spiraling and it's continuing to spiral. So I don't know what reins it in. I don't know that there's anything anybody can do to rein it in. It is what it is, and you have to manage your culture as good as you can, and you have to manage the players you take as good as you can, and you got to move on and play with the players that are there. I mean, I really don't concern myself much with it. I just focus on the guys that are here and the guys that we can get to be here, not worried about the ones that don't want to.
Following up, you're more managed, you got more agents that coaches seem to be dealing with than players and player parents. Is that an issue, or do you see more of that coming, and does that require a different management style?
No, there's definitely more agents involved in the process this year than previous years, and it will continue to grow in terms of representation. But the agents are just doing a job, just like I'm doing a job, just like the parents do a job. Their job is to protect their client, try to get the best deal or the best situation for their client that they can. And I understand that is a business side of it. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's only bad when we don't have a system that has comps. You don't have a system that there's, okay, this is what the comp is for a kid. Sometimes their comp and what our comp is are completely different. And obviously both sides are trying to slap things their way. And that makes it really challenging. And you don't have that challenge in the NFL because it's public knowledge and you know what you're working off of. Nobody really knows in college football, you know, what teams you're working off of.
Coach, what do you think about the play of Justin Williams and Chris Cole, and how do you feel about that linebacker room in general?
Yeah, I'm excited about Justin and Chris. I'll tell you that there's not two players on our team that play with more fire, passion, and energy, and we talk about it all the time. Fire, passion, show me your fire, passion, and energy. They were having fun on the field. They enjoy each other. They compete. They love the game of football. So if there's anybody out there that's playing high school football that has fire, passion, and energy and just loves the game, we got a spot for you. Just come to Georgia. We'll find a way to get you there. And you know, fire, passion, and energy pays off. It's not the ratings or the stars or all those things. It really isn't. It's just the kids that want to play the game the most right now, and those are the ones that play the best. And those two guys personify that.
You know better than anybody it's an upfront league. Coach, what have you seen, for not necessarily today, but over the course of the spring that lets you know that you can be competitive?
Yeah, we got great size up there. I think when we look across the teams we play, the upper echelon best teams in our conference, they win with a line of scrimmage. We're probably not as good on the line of scrimmage as we have been in the last 3 to 4 years. We got time to get there, and we got to get there. It's just hard because you have less defensive linemen and offensive linemen than we've ever had before, and we seem younger. You know, we've had a void that we knew was coming with Dylan, Jared, Tate, the trust that's been there it's been coming for a while. So we've tried to make up for it and put the right kind of kids in those shoes, but they're not where those kids were yet. And then on the defensive line, for Warren, Nas, Michael, Ty, there's a lot of guys leaving out of that room. So there's a lot of big bodies for us that had to be replaced, and we are not where we need to be on the line of scrimmage. But I'm very pleased with the kids we have. I'm just not pleased with where we are. We have to get better.
You mentioned it being a younger team. Does that maybe help make these guys hungrier just because so many of them weren't on those national championship teams and are eager to sort of prove that they can go and do that and uphold the standard?
Yeah, fire, passion, energy. That's what we're looking for out of those kids. And a lot of times, the guy that plays hard is better than the guy that just has the most talent, and we're trying to get more of it.
Colby had a touchdown, nearly had another one. What have you seen from him this spring, and what does his skill set mean, to this offense?
Yeah, he gives you problems outside, you know, if you're going out there, there's not a lot of defense you can have for a guy that gets the ball at the highest point and goes up, and it forces, you know, DBs to have a really good ball skill set. You know, they've got to have great balls to the hands that go up and attack the ball and play the ball high in the air, and the ball playing skills of DBs sometimes are not that of a receiver, and Colby has made a lot of plays this spring on like those 50-50 tag balls.
Daniel Harris was able to come down with an interception today. Over the course of spring, especially in a contested cornerback room, where have you seen him grow and develop?
I think he's competing harder. I think it matters to him more. He sees two really good players at the corner position with him, with DeMello and Ellis, and he's competed really hard. He's had some plays where he's given up balls, and he's had some plays he's made them. Like, you know, DeMello had a really good spring, and he lost a couple battles today, and then at the end, Ellis had a couple where he had 50-50 balls. So, I mean, all three of those corners have gotten better. I think Dante's done a great job with them. I have a lot of confidence in those guys. The wideouts made some plays today.
You mentioned earlier this spring that you've got to get the freshman wideouts ready to go, ready to contribute. Where do you think those, I think, 4 guys are at the end of the spring from when they got on campus?
Yeah, way further ahead. I mean, they've come a long way. They were thrown into the fire. They've been demanded to get the call, line up. I mean, they're ahead of where our typical freshmen are because they call with the twos. And they've got a ways to go still. They had a little anxiety today. They had a couple plays I thought they should have made, but they're a good group. And, you know, Tyler's been hurt, so we haven't been able to see him much, but that young group they've made some plays for us.
Before the game, we found out that Tennessee's going to be moving on from Nico because they couldn't come to an agreement. What does that situation say about the current state of college football and, more importantly, where it's headed?
Don't know, but I know that. I don't know enough about that situation to fairly comment on it. I mean, I basically know what you guys know, and then you don't know what's real, what's being reported, what's being leaked, what are the reasons for all of it. Again, I worry about my house, and I try to control what goes on in my house. I can't worry about everybody else's house. So the climate is different. But again, I'm focused on the kids we got that want to be here.
You said earlier in the spring that Ryan was getting some first-team snaps, and of course he got some snaps with the red offense today. How would you characterize that competition? How did he push Gunner through the spring?
Ryan's done a good job. Ryan continues to get better. It's his first spring. I mean, he ain't got a chance to compete and do much. He has growth. He's still probably a little bit behind Gunner in terms of the knowledge of the offense, but he's catching up in regards to that, right? He's getting experience, knowing when to pull it down and run it, when to throw it away, just game management decisions. He's not going to do anything but get better, and they're both great kids who have a great relationship with each other, and we're very lucky to have two guys that care so much about Georgia, and they're not worried about the perception or whatever you're going to write coming out of the scrimmage of your view of them. They don't care. They care about the team, and that's what I care about.
Transfer portal opens on Wednesday, and one of the big differences is that you cannot transfer within the SEC. How much does that rule make it easier to sort of keep your house in order at this time of year?
Well, it doesn't. I mean, they can go anywhere, right? You just can't go to the SEC, but there's nobody that loves that rule more than the teams outside the SEC. I mean, they love that rule. But that's again, if kids want to be here, we're going to have them here. I hope I get to keep my entire roster and go play the whole year with my entire roster. If we don't, then we'll get somebody that wants to. I mean, there's tons of kids that want to be at the University of Georgia, and I'm worried about the ones that want to be here, not the ones that don't.
You keep talking about fire, passion, and energy throughout spring. With your entire roster, top to bottom, how would you evaluate where you guys are in that department?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm comparing it against. I don't think I look at it and I can say, okay, there's 11 positions starting out there on defense. How many have a burning fire within them? I don't know, 5, 6, 7. I mean, it's not what I want it to be. And then offense, okay, I'm looking, and we talked about it the other day, I'm looking for a bonfire. I'm looking for not a bunch of little campfires. I'm looking for a bonfire. I'm looking to see an inferno of burning. I have to be dominant, and the best teams have offenses and defenses that have passion and energy. And I can't sit here and tell you that I'm happy with where ours is, but I'm also not disappointed. I just want to get more guys jumping in there.
London had a couple of touchdowns. How much do you feel like he's improved in his second offseason compared to where he was last year when he first joined you guys?
Yeah, he's way beyond. I mean, he came, he wanted to be developed, he wanted to learn this offense. He understands that he can play multiple positions. He's probably the only guy here in Dillon Bell that can play all three. Coach Cullen and them do a great job of teaching those guys all three positions. And that's a little bit of a product today of playing the multiple positions. Because he can go out there, somebody goes down and jump out there and play. And London's very smart. He doesn't have a lot of anxiety. He's very mature, and he's good for those kids in that room because he works really hard.
Cole Spear went down with an injury after a big completion. What happened to him, and what's
Not sure it's high ankle or lower leg. I'm not sure. They said they're going to do X-rays. He's got an ankle. Q's got an ankle, and Noah Thomas has an AC sprain. But I don't know that any of them are significant.
Coach, you mentioned the spiraling of the sport a little bit earlier. If there were one thing that could come out of House versus NCAA that you think would kind of rectify the sport a little bit, what might it be?
No, I don't think it's like that, though. I think y'all are, the House settlement is what it is. Like, it's not like she's gonna go in there and say, well, I'm gonna change this, I'm gonna do this, and everything's gonna be fixed. It's not like that. I mean, it's already set. It's set what it is. Now, could she make some changes? Possibly, but I'm not educated enough to comment on that, okay? That's not gonna fix everything. Everybody thinks, well, that's just gonna fix, it's gonna set parameters, and if the clearinghouse / Deloitte has teeth and can police deals and make deals legitimate deals, fair market value deals, then we possibly have a chance. But there's people out there that question whether that can even happen. Look, we live in a litigated society, so everything somebody moves, somebody else has litigation to go against it. And it's unfortunate because it's not the college football that we all grew up watching and saw, but it's still a really good product.
Got to have one more question.
What are your thoughts from today's performance in the secondary?
I don't know. To reserve and see. We threw the ball all over the place, so it's a throw happy league. We don't carry many pressures. We don't carry a lot of alternative things to protect them. We say in this game we're going to find out if we can throw and catch and if we can make plays down the field. We made a couple down the field. We had a couple nice picks, but then we also had some balls that threw and caught. So I don't know if you've played out there before, but when you go out there, there's a big guy 6'4" that knows where the ball is, and you don't. Sometimes it's hard to make that play. I've been there. Thanks.